exercise, as you can see here. So we're going to kind of go through a wide variety of things here today that include anything and everything that I find to be pertinent to supplementing your workouts and making them, or enhancing them to the fullest effect as you are pursuing your wellness goals. So this is kind of the basis of what we're going to go through today. Any questions at any point in time, shoot the hand up. I'll try to answer it. If I can't answer it right now, I'll gladly look it up for you, send it to you via email, do a little research. The 168 hours, what does that mean? Why is nutrition important within your day-to-day lifestyle? What diet should I be on, if any? What the difference between micronutrients and macronutrients, vitamins and minerals, and then lastly, water and electrolyte, just overall fluid balance day to day. So, what is good nutrition? And I mean, a lot of people will ask this day to day. It's like, what do I need to eat? What do I need to eat before? What do I need to eat after? And if you were to ask 100 different people what good or healthy eating means, you'd likely get 100 different answers. So there's no clearly defined good nutrition. I mean, you can go over the basis, and it's going to be a wide range of different things that are going to contribute to that good nutrition. So, and then there's often cited commonsensical, largely meaningless, balanced diet. Nobody knows what that means. Again, it's just very vague in its presentation. So, what is it? And so, what we're going to be talking about, I'm going to talk fast. You're going to find that I'm kind of an auctioneer when it comes to so I end up getting really excited about it. So, first of all, my testimony in college. So first of all, we'll go back a little further. I was never allowed junk food when I was growing up, ever. My mom and dad they cracked the whip on Oreos. I didn't get fast food until I was 13. So as soon as I turned 16, and I was allowed access to fast food drive-thrus, Taco Bell was my saving grace. So this is kind of what my diet looked like in college. And at no point in time was I ever big or too big or anything like that, but I mean, I ate like this. This is what I craved. I wanted cheese, I wanted pretzels, I wanted burgers. So, I mean, being from Wisconsin, cheese was just kind of one of those things that fell into my diet. And as I went through my schooling and started pursuing nutrition, and I realized, you know what, someday I would need to practice what I preach. But I didn't do that until after I got out into the real world. So I graduated, then I said, you know what, now's my time. So within the first 3 months of me working at Stat Fitness, I refined my diet completely. And I was able to shed an 8% body fat within 3 months. That is what I saw in nutrition. It's based on me. And so that's why I became largely interested in nutrition and its role to exercise, because I saw the effects, and it was diet and diet alone. So that's why I'm going to here now. So I'm going to preface everything what I'm saying today is according to John Berardi and Eric Cressy. Those are the two big names that we're going to go over today. John Berardi has a doctorate in nutrient biochemistry, and I'm actually getting a certification right now. It's called the Precision Nutrition Level 1 Nutrition Coach, and so I'm working on that right now. So underline everything that I'm saying tonight with according to John Berardi, just coming out of my mouth. So what we experience on a regular basis that America has a problem with is hyper-rewarding and hyper-palatable food. When you eat highly processed foods, they tend to be labeled so, and the brain becomes overexcited. And so ultimately what happens is this signals from, you block out signals from your GI tract to say that you're full, and you just keep eating because it is so delicious. So you're having such an elated experience that you forget that you're full. And so how many times have we eaten in our lives, and you get done and you hit that wall and you're just like, food baby, right? You're in that food coma. So, how are the processed foods so rewarding? Food companies carefully manage 3 elements, and that's fat, salt, and sugar. I don't know if you've ever heard of the book, Fat, Sugar, Salt. It's actually a book out there about how food companies have incorporated different preservatives and different chemicals into our food to help make their process easier without thinking of what we're putting into our bodies. And so these 3 elements rarely exist in nature, but companies have created foods that our brains never evolved to handle, overriding our satiety mechanisms. Basically saying, we never stop when we're full, we stop when we're overly full. So, there we go. And this is the 168 hours that I heard this in a presentation in Chicago at the Power Fitness Conference last year. 168 hours is how many hours there are in 1 week. So, on average, how many hours a week would you say that you work out? Numbers. Anything. 5 hours a week. There we go. So you work out 1 hour a day for 5 days a week. Okay, that's pretty standard. And so subtract that from the total of the 168 hours in the week. That still leaves 163 hours for you to ruin what you're doing in the gym with what you're putting in the body. So, and you'll see things on pictures online, like abs are made in the kitchen, and I mean simple stuff like that to kind of get the brain going on the fact that, you know what, maybe I should pay attention to more what's going in the body. And if you're not seeing the effects that you desire from the gym and you're really working on it, it's probably due to your nutritional basis outside of the gym. So, and then you'll see things like your fitness pursuits are 70% nutrition and 30% the work you put in the gym. And there's no real percentage, but just looking at the number of hours that you spend in the gym each week and outside of the gym each week, that's what you kind of create that percentage and see the ratio. So there's no actual percentage per se. So
what percentage is mental?
Is mental? That's a small slice. So and why is this important, or why do you need to put better things in your body? So the higher the food quality, the better the physiological response will be during the digestive, absorptive, and nutrient delivery process. Basically saying that your body's going to handle it a lot better, as opposed to these processed foods, which are made of, I mean, if you ever read the nutrition label, you want to see as few ingredients as possible. If you see those long lists of artificial sweeteners and whatnot, chances are there's going to be a lot of junk in there. So anyone who just suggests otherwise might as well claim that the taste of food doesn't matter, since it all ends up in the same place. Both arguments obviously equally absurd. So, and not only this, then there's also the certain physiological effect of clean eating, kind of saying, like when you get done eating a Big Mac from McDonald's, it's not like, oh, I just did my body really well. No, you have that psychological, like, oh man, why did I do that? It was so good. So, but like if you get on a good scheme of things with your diet, and you feel better, and so there's that psychological reward to go along with it to say, you know what, I'm doing my body well. The carrots don't taste the best, but you know what, I want to keep eating them because I'm doing my body well. So, moving on. But Jenny Craig said, you see all these diets out here, and the biggest thing that I want to just dispel right now is, if diets worked, we'd all be skinny. So, what's the problem there? I mean, there's all these things out here that claim you can eat whatever you want, just pay $500 a month to Jenny Craig. So, and I really, like I said, just get rid of the easy street mentality, because it takes work, and just plain and simple, it takes work. And so one thing I want to show you, I hate Shape magazine, and I think it's comical to see what they put on these covers. So, drop the jean size in 21 days. Eat what you crave. Pasta, grilled cheese, and more. Have it all this fall. That body of your dreams. Jump away the jiggle. Like, they just find great ways to. I just think it's comical. And the thing is that people bite on this. Like, wait, I want to jump away the jiggle today. It's going to be great. 235 calories, 25 minutes. It's going to be great. So, again, they find things that are appealing for the initial, but I mean, it's essentially fluff. So,
how did she get that way?
Yeah.
Want to know a fun fact? Jillian Michaels has no exercise science background.
None?
None. She's a body that they put in front of the camera to say that this is what you can look like. But she has no education in exercise science at all. She's just a body. So, fun fact. She's a charlatan. Okay.
He jumped away the jiggle.
Okay, what are the bare necessities? So, macronutrients versus micronutrients. Ultimately, the difference between those are the amount that you need to eat between them. So, macronutrients, you need a lot. Micronutrients, you need a little. So, like I said, they're right in the name. Macronutrients enable us to do work. They serve as primary fuel sources in our body. And micronutrients work synchronously, so they create hormones. They serve as enzymes, so they help the overall digestive process and other body mechanisms within our body to ensure that they go smoothly. And so, if you're ever deficient in those the processes aren't as smooth as they could potentially be. So, here with macronutrients, carbs, fats, and protein. And so I'll kind of go through the bases of each of these. And again, at any point in time, just feel like if you have a question, shoot your hand up. So, starting out with carbohydrates. We've all heard of the Atkins diet. Say no carbs at all. So, what comes to mind when you think of carbs? If you were just to spit out something, what would you think of carbs? Energy. Okay, that's pretty good. Because the last time that I did this, it was bread. No. Energy. That's good. Because carbohydrates are the primary fuel source within the body. So, but there is a difference between simple and complex carbohydrates. Simple just meaning that they're digested faster and they have a greater effect on the glycemic index, meaning that they're just going to boost your blood sugar faster. And the complex carbs being just slower digesting and not having that immediate effect or spike on the blood glucose. So, but simple carbs can be good. There was an article on CNN a couple months ago that came out that said bananas are bad for you. I don't know if you guys saw that.
No.
And so, yes, there is fructose in bananas, which has that immediate blood glucose effect, but what they don't take into toll is the fiber content. And when combined with fiber, carbohydrates are digested more efficiently because the carbohydrates attached to the fiber pass through you more so than being absorbed because you only can handle a certain amount of fructose at a time. So then I have a good list of the good and the bad, and so the frowned upon word when it comes to bad is white. And you don't want the white rice, white pasta, or like enriched because it's basically they bleach out all the good things in there. And so the buzzword that you want to look for that I'll go over later is whole wheat if you're going to go the bread route. Otherwise, vegetables of all kinds, fruits for the most part. Obviously, they still have sugar, but again, there's going to be that fiber content, so which is not going to have. And so, like I said, whole wheat flour, it'll be in bold. If it's a true whole wheat item, the first ingredient on the back of the nutrition label will say whole wheat flour in bold. So you want to look for that. Okay, and here's some. And if you want me to send this out to you, I'd be glad to do so. So there's just a good list of non-starchy vegetables and starchy vegetables, all of which are good to incorporate within your diet at any point in time. But I will list one thing. If you eat yams or sweet potatoes, boil them, don't bake them. Because when you bake them, it can raise the glycemic index from a 36 to a 94.
So you would slice them up and boil them? Or
no, you keep the skin on and boil them, and then it softens the inside, and then you open the glue already.
Oh, I've been eating
So
baked.
when you bake them, it raises the glycemic index to basically like a candy, and so it's got to have a profound effect on the glycemic
Well, I know
index.
it does, like if the juice comes out of it, it's very sticky and sugary. Like
Yeah,
you
and that's why the sweet potato, the sweet is that there's a lot of sugar in there. So when you bake it,
How long does it take to boil it? Is that how you eat them?
15 minutes. 15 minutes.
Look on YouTube.
Okay, and fats. And I don't know if you guys, you probably are all friends with Jordan on Facebook. He had a great point the other day about how the biggest mistake that we made is calling a person's body type by a macronutrient.
Yeah.
Saying that fat, we need fat in our diet. The biggest problem that we have here is not our fat intake, it's our carbohydrates. We need fats. And so, then I was just kind of explaining the difference between unsaturated and saturated, and then when you break it down to a chemical basis, it's basically, I'm going to leave that out. So, unsaturated fats are easier to break down, saturated fats are harder to break down, they store easier in just their chemical structure in the body. So, and problems associated with saturated fat intake aren't necessarily because of saturated fat intake on its own. So when you eat saturated fat combined with the polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats, there's a diminished effect on the saturated fat in its digestive process. And people always ask me, like, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean it.
That's like I said,
Well, one of the questions that I think a lot of people have is when you would rather cook with like an oil versus like a butter. There's tons of different types of oils out there, and they all have varying ranges of saturated versus unsaturated or polyunsaturated. So I guess what would you say would be like if you wanted to cook with an oil better? I know there's probably not a best. Some are better than others, but what would
most seed oils have good good content of poly and monounsaturated. They're inevitably going to be, being an oil, you're going to have saturated fat.
Right.
But it's all depending on, so you can have safflower oil, you can have canola oil, any of those. And so there's going to be varying numbers of, or like ratios between mono and polyunsaturated. But just make sure that there's that poly and monounsaturated content. And it's not, again, you're not chugging the oil.
Right,
so
you're cooking with it rather than,
Yeah, so it's not going to have that profound effect through itself, as long as you're not.
Good question for you.
Yep.
What about heating? Now you're reading that you should have some butter, a little cheese.
Well, what a basic guideline is,
That you should have some saturated.
Yep, here it is right here. So try to limit your saturated fat intake to 10% of your total calories. So when you look at, and I'll go through like the macro percentages later as far as how much fat you should have in your diet with this goal, how much carbohydrates with this goal, and protein and whatnot. And so, but a good basic guideline is going to be less than 10% of your total calories. So yes, saturated fat is going to find its way. We live in Wisconsin, cheese everywhere, you're going to find saturated fat. So
Ice cream.
ice cream, that's kind of the same realm. So, but like I said, recommendations to avoid saturated fat are misguided. Saturated fat appears to be fine when refined carbohydrate intake is low and healthy intake of unsaturated fats are present. So people always say, like, how do I eat so much peanut butter? So on average, each day for me, I eat about 1,000 calories of peanut butter alone. So people will say, oh, that's how do you do that? How do you just throttle peanut butter? So, like I said, this is my go-to weekly snack. And so, yes, there is, 2 tablespoons is 200 calories. But, so yes, there's 3.5 grams of saturated fat, but there's also 9 grams of monounsaturated fat and 3.5 grams of polyunsaturated. So, again, when combined with those intake, the saturated fat does not have that immediate effect. So, peanut butter. Love it, good stuff. So, and then healthy fats, the unsaturated fats, can be beneficial, have beneficial effects on blood triglycerides, cholesterol, blood vessels, inflammation, metabolism. And then I'm sure we've all heard of omega-3s and omega-6s. I'm not going to go into too much detail on here. It's basically you need them from your diet. So anything essential, that essential definition within the diet means you have to get it from whatever you're eating. So I'm not going to go too far into that because we have a lot to go still. So, but omega-3s or omega-6s are drastically overeaten. The ratio between omega-6 and omega-3s should be 1 to 1. But because we eat so much, there's a high intake of corn oil, safflower oil, and meat from feedlot animals, it's shifted to roughly 16 to 1, 20 to 20 to 1 ratio. Because of how we are consuming the omega-6s, so we want to be aware of that. And so, and then omega-3s, and you'll see like why do people eat fish oils? And so basically, they have a long list of things. This is just a few that I find to be most important. They keep our cells more fluid, and they allow messages from our neurochemical transmitted to be transmitted easier. So if there's fat surrounding our neurons. Again, I'm probably going into too much detail here for what you care about, but it increases insulin sensitivity, blood vessel dilation, anti-inflammatory effects all over the body. They have anticoagulant effects, and they have been shown to decrease pain and also allow for airway dilation. So, protein. This is by far my favorite macronutrient, and unfortunately is underconsumed by a vast majority of the population. And so, most of us will see us trainers will load up our protein powder, and yes, that is it's good because it's an easy snack. We kind of move on the go, and so for the most part, supplementation is okay. You just want to make sure that whatever by that anything in there. So, and then also one of our sources says try and get roughly 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And that might seem like a lot, but it's a good guideline to kind of go off of. But again, there's no exact number, but the protein is gonna be a very important factor as to how your body metabolizes, and it's actually got the highest what's called the thermic effect of food. So your body burns more calories breaking down the protein because of an extra metabolic step in there. So you're going to be burning more calories breaking down the more protein that you're going to be consuming. So does that make sense? I know I'm talking really fast, I'm sorry. So, here's some good macronutrient percentages. So, for bodybuilding, so if you're trying to put on a lot of mass, you're going to see that the carb intake is significantly increased, large slice of the pie. And you'll see the other percentages, and like I said, I'm happy to show it to you. But one thing to notice is that fat never goes below 15%, so you need fat in the diet. And so, it's funny because here we go, here's it kind of showing itself in the flesh here. So for fat loss, 30 to 40% of your diet is fat. It's the carbs that's the biggest thing that you want to monitor as you are trying to get that fat loss up and going. So those are again so this is the one that's from bodybuilding.com. So I strayed from my Eric Cressy and driving already a little bit, but there's a good ratio to how you should support your macros here. So, micronutrients, vitamins and minerals. Vitamins, there's water soluble, fat soluble. Basically, water soluble is dissolved in water. So, if you ever see like Bolthouse Farms or like Naked or anything like that, and you just get really pumped, like, yes, I just got 1,000% of my daily dose of vitamin C. I'm going to be healthy forever. I'm going to sprout wings. But no, ultimately, anything above 100% of your vitamin C or any water-soluble vitamin, you're going to pee away. It's water. It's dissolved in water. Anything above 100% of what your body can handle, you're just going to pee away. And so also the B vitamins, and so you'll see, like in Red Bull and stuff like that, you'll see that it has a lot of, they'll boost B vitamins through the roof, like 5,000%. And the logic behind that is when looking at the energy systems in the body, like your glycolysis, Krebs cycle, I know those make no sense to you, but it's how our body produces energy. And so there's energy intermediates in our body, and those are B vitamins, and that's niacin and riboflavin, and you'll see those really high in like energy drinks. But it's, again, anything above that 100% is going to be peed away. Ultimately, what you're getting out of energy drinks is the caffeine and taurine. The B vitamins do very minimal effects. It's a good idea to say that that's the physiological response to it, but it actually has very minimal effect. And so fat-soluble stuff, vitamins A, D, E, and K is dissolved in fat. So they're a little slower to get rid of because they're stored in fat. But again, those are all very important and to get on a day-to-day basis, and they're needed in trace amounts. So, you think of a chicken breast, and that's like a portion of your protein for the day. But then you think of like a one-a-day men's vitamin, and that's the size of, well, it's a pill. It's a little pill. So that kind of shows you those are the trace amounts that we're talking about there. So, and again, they're important for regulatory functions, growth digestion, energy transfer, nervous system function, and more. So, and again, that would be me going way deeper into the physiology of it all if I wanted to, but we don't, for all things considered, all intended purposes, just know that they're important for metabolic processes. Minerals, again, not a direct source of energy. These are the minerals that you'll see. Again, those are something that you'll see listed out on the nutrition label on the back. And they are considered essential, and they must be obtained from the diet. But there is a possibility, so you should get most minerals from your diet. And so supplementation with minerals can get a little dicey. And so there is a possible upper limit, meaning you can get too much of it. And so I'm not saying that the next time you get a headache and all of a sudden you're taking like a chromium supplement that you can attribute that headache to like ODing on its chromium, but it's just something to be aware of, and it's not supposed to be a scare tactic, but you can get too much of these things. So like calcium tablets too, you'll see those. So you can get too much of those things.
As far as vitamins go,
Yep.
is it generally pretty easy to get most of your micronutrients out of your diet?
Yeah.
Or?
If you're eating, again, we'll kind of delve into that well-balanced diet, but as long as your complex carbs are coming from a variety of vegetables, and your protein sources are varied from anything from dairy products to meat, poultry, and fish and stuff like that, you're going to get a vast majority, and then you have your fruit and whatnot. If you're eating all of those things across the spectrum, you should get all your vitamins and minerals from your diet. So.
Like Juvenite True Star.
Yep.
Are we just covering the bases? I mean, our diets are good, but in case we're not, you know what I'm saying? I mean, should we be not taking these multivitamins if we have a good diet?
Well, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to say, because there's no way that you're going to, like I said, it's really hard for me, and I probably shouldn't even mention the upper limit.
Everybody's body is different, right, and how it works, so there's no way of measuring that we need exactly this and this and this, so we take a range and hope
And that's kind of the caveat there, is that there's a wide range that each person can handle, and you'd have to eat a lot of something, especially minerals, to really get that effect, or that profound effect on that overdosing or that upper limit. So and with that, being as how you're more metabolically active, you're using more of these metabolites to break down all the food that you're eating, so you probably do need more in essence. So because you're using them at a faster rate because they are helping the digestive process. So fiber, on to fiber. A lot of people know that we need fiber. A lot of people don't know why. And so, and it seems odd to say it, but we don't digest fiber. And so it actually helps with a number of things. It can decrease, so it'll slow down, well, let's go back to the beginning. Let's start with my words here in a second. So it can increase your mass of your stool, and so it decreases the colonic transit time. And so it gives those complex carbohydrates that are slower to break down more time to absorb up into your system. And so if they have increased satiety, again, that's feeling of fullness, lower blood fat and cholesterol, and also boosting gut health because soluble fiber ferments in the small intestine, which enhances the microflora. We get that?
What's a microflora?
I'll get into it because I want to go over probiotics later. Thank you. Good question, though. So here's the soluble versus insoluble fiber. Soluble fiber is relatively indigestible and goes a slight metabolic processing in the bowel, but not too much. It's mostly still, it just passes through. And insoluble is completely indigestible, and it increases the stool bulk and enhances colon transit time. So, and the minimum recommended intake for fiber per day is 25 grams, but optimal amount seems to be closer to 35 grams per day for women and 45 grams per day for men. So those are some good numbers to go by right there. So if you're a woman, remember 35 grams. If you're a guy, 48 grams is going to be your go-to. So probiotics, here we are. So what are they? And it seems weird and it's kind of hard to swallow, both figuratively and literally. They are live microorganisms. So you're swallowing a live colony of bacteria, essentially, microorganisms. But because we have such, we're clearing out constantly, we're losing our parts of our microflora in our intestines, so it's good to replenish those. And so probiotics help us do those. So obviously, you'll see it within yogurt. If you guys drink kefir and sauerkraut are 3 good examples of what some probiotics that you see in the grocery store, and that will help replenish our microflora, which again, it helps the digestion, increase absorption of nutrients, keep our immune system in optimal conditions. So they'll back up, what do they say? Over 500 different species and 1 trillion bacteria live in our guts. So it is very, very important. So big numbers there, but and like I said, don't ever think of eating yogurt like, oh, this is alive and it's going to me. Pick a flavor you like and just take it all in. So, all right, and so this is kind of coming down to the last of it, and this is water intake. A lot of people struggle with water intake throughout the day, but why do we need to drink water? And again, you'll find different numbers out there to say, like, you need to drink X amount of liters a day to have optimal health. So here's just some factoids about the body. Water makes up nearly 60% of our body weight. Different tissues contain higher and lower fluids and percentages based on chemical conduction. So you've all done the BIA analysis. So the basics of that analysis is that your muscle tissue has a calculated resistance and your fat tissue has a calculated resistance. And so based on your given metrics, so you are a female, you are this many pounds, you are this old, and so they can track progression and they have a basis of what the ratio should be in your body, and that's all computed in that little machine. And so based on that and your body weight, it'll send the electrical impulse to your body, and so having the different resistances of water tissue in your body will, and then that is the basis of, it goes through our muscle tissue, and that has a different water ratio than our fat tissue, which is pretty resistant to that. So that makes sense. I probably went a little overhead in there. So, but it acts as a solvent, a catalyst, a lubricant, temperature regulator, mineral source, and regulator of growth. So all of those things, obviously, very imperative to your daily existence. And fluid is often lost through respiration, breathing. So when you breathe out, you're breathing out water vapor. Sweat, and again, when we sweat out here, that's a form of sweat, but we are sweating all day long. It's just not as apparent. Again, you don't have to be dripping wet that again it's an exaggerated effect, but we're sweating all day long, and it's also lost in urine and feces. And then and here's the approximation: is about 2 liters of water per day, in addition to the food, because we get water from our food as well. Is related to food intake should be sufficient. So, and again, and your body adjusts to your water intake too. So if you're not getting enough, your body will adjust to that. And so that's kind of that's the nice thing about the body is your body will learn to adapt to whatever you're feeding it on a regular basis as well too. So, but you can also change that as well too. So, and then part of that fluid balance is electrolytes, and so, and again, this is just more for fun, I guess. So, they're electrically charged ions in minerals. So, the minerals that we consume are so sodium, potassium, chloride. So, if you've ever drank Gatorade, sodium and potassium are the two electrolytes that you'll find in there. And ultimately, if you buy Gatorade, if you can make your own Gatorade by making Kool-Aid and then putting salt in there too. It's gonna be a lot cheaper because they've kind of perfected it to the point where it is basically Kool-Aid with a little bit of salt in it. I mean, it's gonna restore your electrolyte balance. So they help conduct fluid passage through cellular membranes, which is again just kind of helping our body operate optimally. So during exercise, it is critical to replace both fluid and electrolytes. So if you have that little sugary drink during your workout, it will help you maintain that for longer. And so here's a good percentage that you might want to remember. So a diluted carbohydrate drink that contains electrolytes is an ideal form of fluid replacement. So after your workout, anything greater than 10% concentration can hinder absorption. So 1 ounce, so we'll say, let's see here, if you say 16 ounces, that's about 500 milliliters. And so you want to multiply it by a 0.06 or 0.08 or 0.10, and that's how much, roughly, how much salt you can put in there to create that percentage within your drink, and not necessarily eating, but the electrolyte ratio is going to be very important. Am I keeping everyone in tune here? I'm probably going off on percentages you don't care about. I apologize. Like I said, I get excited about this stuff, so I can send you this, and you might be able to digest it a little bit more because I know I'm just talking really fast. So, 10 things to take away. This is from our Air Cressy manual that Jordan so kindly provided to me. And here's what I want you to, if anything, I want you to take away from this today. So, 1, eat mostly real, whole, minimally processed foods. If it wasn't food 100 years ago, it isn't food today. So that's kind of the basis of the paleo diet, is the hunter-gatherer diet. So eating no processed foods, and again, I know it's hard to come by, but the foundation of your diet should be those minimally processed foods that weren't available 100 years ago. Eat food as close to its natural state as possible. So there's a block of cheese, and then there's Cheese Whiz. Which one's better?
Taste of cheese.
Depends on what you put.
Yeah. Crackers is definitely Cheese Whiz. So, and that's again to its natural state. You want there's different forms as well too. So just careful on how you're doing so. Eat slowly and until satisfied. So I went to the Lacrosse family restaurant for the first time 2 weeks ago, and I got so excited. But the portion size was for like 4 people, and I overate. And that's kind of a problem. It's like our portion sizes here are terribly, but I mean, like I said, I have a problem where I eat fast, and I'm trying to learn against that. But it takes 15 to 20 minutes until we realize that we're full. So if you eat a little slower and only until you're full, it's going to be a lot easier to control your portions and whatnot. So otherwise, you're going to end up stuffing your face until you're overly done. So eat protein with every single meal and most snacks. So protein is something that you should find. That protein content is something you should find in every single time that you eat each day. Again, it's the most satiating, so it's gonna make you full for longer. Eat at least 1 full serving of vegetables and or fruits every time you eat. And again, I know that's really hard to come by, but that's something that you want to be aware of as you're eating throughout the day. And I believe this is my last slide. Don't do it one more after this. So eat healthy fats with most meals. Again, those polyunsaturated, monounsaturated. Eat quality carbohydrates, so your vegetables and whole grain oats. Drink beverages with few ingredients. So you'll see, unfortunately, even like V8 Splash, they'll claim to have like carrots and vegetables, but it's also a ton of sugar, and it's a lot of processed, a lot of upped processed ingredients in there. Utilize supplementation when appropriate. So they're used to enhance, not replace, a healthy, balanced diet. So again, those protein supplements, if you're on the go, they are a good source of protein, but don't do 5 protein shakes a day, assuming that that's going to be your outlet, because it's easy and it tastes chocolatey good. And lastly, live a little. So it's okay to splurge every once in a while. Don't be that person that goes out to eat and says, nope, 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 no carbs for me today. And so, I mean, you can splurge every once in a while. And again, this is pretty much straight from the Cressy. It is pretty much straight from the Cressy manual. So, again, just 10 really good basic guidelines. And then lastly, this one as well too. Your next trip to the grocery store, keep to the perimeter. If you think about what's at the perimeter of the grocery store, you have your produce, you have your poultry, you have your meat, you have your eggs, you have your yogurt. So all your dairy products, if you stick to the perimeter, it's all gunk in the middle. So if you're doing hot laps between the aisles and slithering through the lanes, it's not necessary. You're not going to find anything good there unless you like have this addiction of Pop-Tarts.
I've caught Larry in a couple middle lanes.
Yeah.
So oatmeal and stuff like that.
So if you just do a hot lap around the outside and avoid the weaving through except two exceptions. Tuna and peanut butter, both in the aisles. I need both of those things. So keep to the perimeter. Again, you're going to find all these good things, and then usually nuts. You might have to make a little foray into the aisles. And like I said, the middle is pretty much full of crap. So I'm trying to cover that as fast as possible. I realized I didn't leave that much time for questions. If you guys have any questions in general.
That paleo diet,
Yeah.
I was reading about that, you know, they said grass-fed beef.
Yes, grass-fed beef, and then like farm fresh.
And that fat's supposed to be good for you.
Yeah, and it's just because there's in the where they're farmed, and where like there's like meat farms. There's a lot of they eat corn.
Yeah.
Most feedlot.
Yeah, feedlot beef is gonna have
corn and soybean.
Corn because it affects corn and soybean, and so those are digested into the meat, and so you're gonna have higher content.
The reason they do that is that's how they get them big, fat.
Yeah, and that's why you get those big slabs of meat.
The farmers, it's just like any other business. The quicker he can get that thing raised into the
They
market,
can go to the
the longer it goes, the more it's costing them. So
Yep.
There's actually a few areas around here that have like farm-raised chickens and cows. My wife does a CSA over in Bangor, and
organic farm.
yeah, and I forget what it's called, but I mean, literally, if you guys want, it's every Tuesday. If you buy a full share, I think it's like $600. But the entire summer, every day, you have fresh farm-raised produce, no anything added to it. And they literally, would have to go to a certain area to pick it up, but it's always there every week. You don't have to ever go to the store to get all of your vegetables. We do that every summer. We never have a lack of vegetables or fruits in the house. And it's always really good stuff. You get watermelons, all this stuff. So we love it because every once in a while you want to go down the middle aisles.
Yeah.
If you have a refrigerator brimming full of all this other stuff already, it makes it really hard to want to go. So.
Yeah. And then I know that Festival actually just got a new, they go to a new locally owned farm for their chicken breasts. And I bought 3 chicken breasts the other day, and it was 4 pounds.
The one here or not Alaska?
I went to the one here, they had it. But so it was 3 chicken breasts, and it was 4 pounds. The chicken breasts were huge.
Yeah, but see, when
And it's all organic, and it's locally raised. Yep.
Because when they're that huge, it makes me wonder what
makes
the
you
hell they're feeding them chickens.
Unless they're like elderly chickens that have been growing all their life. I don't know. He said they're organic and locally farmed. So I was surprised because these chicken breasts were absolutely.
Well, organic's a pretty big term.
Yeah, I know. That's one of those. And
Yeah,
unfortunately,
you're absolutely right.
yeah, it's one of those polluted terms. The whole like
Yes.
dietary and nutrition realm is very polluted as far as what's offered to be positive, and so you kind of have to use your best instinct to say, you know what has been around the longest? What have we been surviving on the longest? Did we have Lucky Charms 100 years ago? And be careful with the General Mills too, because they'll say whole wheat, but it's all, and like if you ever see enriched whole wheat flour or anything like that, all that's saying is they went through the full bleaching process and they pumped some B vitamins and minerals back into it, but not nearly to the same extent. So you want to be careful with that as well. So
Well, the food industry is adapting to this too.
yeah.
You have to realize they're figuring out, they're always figuring out different ways to market something back to the consumer to trick them
Yep.
into still eating.
Thinking that it's good for you.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know if you guys are paying attention to the news, but Michelle Obama and the FDA are refining the food label. And so from this on out, so if you ever have like God forbid you have a liter of cola or something like that in your hand, instead of saying per serving, so who's going to stop at 8 ounces when they're drinking, you know? So instead of saying per serving, it's going to say in this container, this is how many calories. So it's not, they're no longer going to have servings or calories per serving. It's going to be what's going to be in the entire container, so it might be a little bit more of a notification to you. So there's, let's say there's 600 calories in this thing, but someone might step away and be like, well, that's a lot of calories. And so there might be, again, it might be that red flag that people need. And then they're also getting rid of calories from fat. Because, again, fat is not a problem.
Right.
But so you're not, so as soon as this gets all the way through, you're not going to see calories from fat anymore. And you're not going to see calories per serving. You're going to see total calories and then the normal nutrition level. So.
The next issue of Food Parenting Connection, the spring issue actually, that comes out in a couple weeks, has a list of CSAs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we post one in there, so look for that. It's got a picture of a graduate on the cover, so.
Awesome. Any other questions?
And this is just our situation. I know she's probably a man. When I eat our evening meal, I'll have a 16-ounce glass of water because it fills me up.
Yep.
It kind of takes. Is that? I mean that. Yeah, you didn't talk about that.
Are you saying like as a method of reaching that satiation?
Well, yeah.
So just like filling you up without getting
it
the
does.
calories?
It does. But if you drink a lot of water with your meal, it just gives you less hunger or desire to eat more. I mean, it just does fill you up fast.
Yeah. I mean,
Maybe
if
you
you're
gotta go to the bathroom more.
Yeah. That'd be one way a good way to increase your fluid intake for the day and decrease calories. Yes, but you can't survive off. Obviously, if you're not going to be eating out of water besides that fluid intake,
Right.
which is important. Yes, but I mean, you don't necessarily. I guess it doesn't. It's not something that I would worry about.
Well, use your veggies as
Yeah.
filler.
Yeah.
You know, spinach and all
The
that
fiber,
stuff, it's very
right.
low
The
calories,
DGLs.
but that's what's going to give you the
Yeah.
satiety effect and actually make you feel full.
Anything else?
Is watermelon a fruit that has many benefits? And it seems like it's mostly water with a little flavor.
Yeah, it's water and fructose, basically. But there is the
But you read different stuff that said watermelon's the next super.
yeah,
fruit
and
or
that's the
something.
thing is like now you'll see. I think it's